Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. So, this is Sir Norris De Blois from the English 10, Las Piñas National High School, Almanza. So, right now, I'll be presenting to you the discussion about the English 2 module week 2, quarter 1. So, in your module, as you can see, we have the most essential learning competency called the the main objective is to determine the effect of textual aids like advanced organizers, titles, nonlinear illustrations, etc. on understanding of a text. Now, normally we can hear the saying about the linear and the non-linear texts. When you talk about linear text, number one, linear texts are all about essays, novels, or articles that you are required to read from beginning until end, from start up to end. So it is composed of words. That is a linear text. While a non-linear text, on the other hand, uses uses icons or symbols to represent an idea. Sometimes it uses shapes. In short words, it may be in a form of graphic organizers, charts, or other diagrams. So that is the difference. Linear texts are words, while nonlinear texts are graphic organizers or graphs or infographics. Now, let's continue. The main objectives of our discussion is to identify different textual aids and their purpose and show understanding of texts through textual aids. Now let's talk about the ones that we have in our modules. So as you can see, we have compare map, characteristic maps, circle organizer, multiple timeline, overlapping circles map, data grid, big question map, hierarchy diagram, multiple meaning map, discussion map, and the concept definition map. I'll try to discuss this as basic as possible. Okay. So I got this from Graphic Organizer's book, got from the internet. So to enhance thinking skills and learning in economics. First, we have the big question map. The big question map helps students improve their research and problem solving skills. It is a big help for especially when you're going to start a research. So what are the questions or the statements? What is the statement of the problem? So these are the sets of questions that your research will be using for as a guide. So we have the what, who, why, where, when, and how. Here we have an example of a big question map. Topic, occupational mobility of labor. What is the question? What is the main question of the problem? Or what is the statement of the problem? Who will suffer? How comes the problem? When did the problem start? Where can we seek help from to solve the problem? And how can we solve the problem? So this is just an example of the different statements of the problem in a research writing task. Also, we have characteristic maps. It is used to promote students' critical thinking about key concepts and their characteristics. Okay, and their characteristics. Here you will see the example of economic systems. So economic system is at the center, and then it is categorized into three. It could be purely market economic, or purely planned economy, or it could be a combination of both. The upper one, the mixed economy. So we already have the concepts at the side, and then all you have to do is to present it in a non-linear text. As you can see, when you talk about linear text, here on the highlighted parts, you will see that there are a lot of words that are being used to explain the concept. While visually, in a graphic organizer or in a nonlinear text, you will see just a few sentences just to describe or just to categorize the main concept, which is economic system. So that's the main use of using graphic organizers or the textual aids. Also, we have the circle organizer. It is used to help students understand the sequence of events in a process. So it is also like a step-by-step organizer, or let's say a process chart or a flow chart. As you can see, there is a continuous flow. So we have the step one until the last step. Okay, we normally see this when we go to establishments like the government agencies on how to process ID, how to apply for something. Okay. Also, you're doing this when you are trying to sign in a new social media account. You have to fill up forms step by step. You have page one until the next page, and then the last one is you have to bring your give your identity picture or the profile picture. So step by step process is the main keyword here in a circle organizer. Okay, we also have compare map. Compare map, from the word compare, you are going to compare two concepts according to their set of criteria. Now, different from uh different from a Venn diagram, you will not uh you will not use circles here. So it's like a map. So the common things are at the center, and then the difference are on the other side. Okay. Example here: number of shareholders from a private limited company and a public limited company. So commonly, they have the following at the center. Both have the numbers of shareholders, both have liability, trading of shares, and both have disclosure of company finance. So these are the common things. If you're going to compare them, both of them have this, but there is a difference when it comes to numbers. Let's say, for example, number of shareholders, we have 2 out of 50 for a private limited company, while there is unlimited number of shareholders for the public limited company. Okay, we also have a concept definition map. Okay, a concept definition map is used to help students focus attention on the main components of a definition. Main components of a definition. If you're going to branch out the definition, okay, if you're going to trim your ideas, it is very effective, especially when you are using it for brainstorming. Okay. This may include categories, properties, and illustration. It not only enriches students' understanding of a concept, but also encourages them to integrate their own experience with the definition, because you might have your own definition of something, or you might have an extended definition based on your experience. So that is a concept definition map. Okay. In creating this, maybe in a graphic form, if you're going to draw something like a concept definition map, much better, or I might suggest that you may be using different colors to represent different ideas. Same color means similar ideas. Okay? It could be category or a description or a quality. Okay, you can see here definition of money is at the top side. It is generally accepted medium of exchange. While you also can see the qualities in the circle shapes and the function in another rectangular shapes. So to make it more different, or to make it more understandable, I suggest that you'll be using different colors for these different concepts. Okay, then you will have the legend at the side. Okay, data grid is very common because most of us are using this in our daily lives, especially teachers are using this. Let's say, for example, in our grading sheets, we are using the data grid. A data grid, for example, in the criteria, or let's say the names of students here, and then we have the different records of the scores like seat works, assignments, and quizzes, and periodical exams. So these are, let's say, the written works, other the written works. Just for example, okay, a data grid allows students to compare and contrast information according to various criteria. So your the criteria is different on a different columns or different rows. I mean, example here is the market structure in a research paper. Okay, number of firms, types of product, forms of competition, availability of information, and then you will see here at the top side are the different types of markets. So we have the perfect competition market, the monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and the monopoly. So these are the different type of markets. or market structure, while the other side are the different components or categories. Discussion mode. This will be very useful if you are groupings. If you have groupings and you are brainstorming, or if you have a debate. Okay, a debate, for example, is there is the pros and the against, the pros and the cons, the uh, the contrasts. It helps students consider both sides of an issue before drawing to a conclusion. So it helps us to come up with a resolution or a justification or a conclusion based on hearing both sides, the negative or the positive, or the pros and against. Example here are the following. Example, issue is the Hong Kong should impose a tariff on the import of computer products from other countries. What are the pros about the topic? The local computer industry can develop under the protection. That's the pros. While on the cons, the variety of computer products is limited. Okay, that's the that's the weak side. Let's have the strengths and the weaknesses as well. It's like that. Okay, the pros and cons. And then after hearing all the pros and cons, you will now be having the conclusion and justification at the center. So again, as I've said, this will be better if you will be using it in brainstorming your ideas, right? Especially when coming up of a good concept. Hierarchy diagram sounds familiar because of Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs. Okay, you say hierarchy, we have the main topic and then the subtopic and then the under topics here, or let's say the subtopics. How do we call that? Okay, so the main topic, for example, or it could be a position, the president, and then the branches of the government. Actually, the branches of the government we have three. Okay, we have the executive, we have the legislative, and then the other one. I forgot. AP intelligence, people, AP genius, please help me out. Okay. Hierarchy is also called an organizational chart. Okay. In other in other industries. Let's say, for example, here we have the president of the Philippines, and under him are the following three things: provinces, cities, and independents, and autonomous regions. In the classroom setup, you will have the classroom officers, the president. We have two vice presidents, and the two vice presidents. He'll have the secretaries and other secretaries, and on other positions, just to function to help the president. So it is from the top order to the receiver of the orders. It's like that in the hierarchy of needs. Also, you're familiar with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs in AP and ESP. So we have the self-actualization as our top priority, and then once you have actualized yourself, or once you have found your purpose, you will now develop your self-esteem. Then that will be going to your love for yourself, and then you will be loving other people as well, and then you will be thinking of their safety, and then lastly, you'll be providing their needs, physiological needs. Okay, that is according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, according to verywell.com. Okay, we also have the multiple meaning map. In the multiple meaning map, these organizers can be used to help students explore concepts with more than one meaning, definition, examples, and categories. So if one concept have more than one meaning, a multiple meaning map could be very useful. Okay, I could see different memes in the social network like Facebook. Sabi, ano ang English, ano ang Tagalog ng orange? Oh, or what is an orange? Multiple choice. Is it a color or is it a fruit? That's the correct answer. Okay. It may have multiple meaning, okay, based on the speaker. Okay. Kung sino yung gumagamit, whoever is the user or whoever is the speaker or whatever the situation is, you should be going to the meaning related to the situation or the scenario. Multiple meaning map. For example, here, another definition. Multiple meaning maps can be used to help determine what definition fits the story you are reading. So as I said, it depends on the story. It depends on situation, or the location. What is happening? Okay, here for AP, you will see araling palipunan, you will see unemployment has different definitions, or it could be defined in different categories. It could be defined based on its categories. Okay, when you talk about structural unemployment, frictional unemployment, cyclical unemployment, or seasonal unemployment, what type of unemployment do you experience? Okay, it might fall on a different one. It's based on the situation, personal situation. Examples here we have dream. A dream, for instance, right, could be defined into four basic terms. Number one, mental images. So these are the symbols, right? Dream of a swimming pool, or you are in a beach or in a garden. So it's all about the mental images coming into your coming into your brain or in your imaginations while you are asleep. While number two, imagination while awake. Because aside from your being asleep, people can daydream. Right now, for example, if you're alone and you sit in one corner and you have a peaceful surroundings, you daydream. You think of things, maybe out of this world things. Number three, it could be something wonderful or something that you really like to have. Because this car is a dream. My dream is to be a millionaire someday. That's actually my dream. And then also a dream could be a hope or aspiration. Her dream was to become a doctor. Okay? Or it could be sabi ko sa number three, it could be something wonderful that is happening right now. Wow, this is just a dream. For example, you are in a surprise party and then you were just dreaming about that before. And that is something wonderful that you experience. But number four, it is the hope or admiration of becoming something someday or somebody someday. What about you? What is your dream? Could be the next. It could be a definition based on your personal, personal view. That is your dream. That could be the number five definition. Next, we have multiple timeline. Of course, when you talk about timeline, we're talking about different time phase or time phrase. It is used to help students acquire skill to look at various aspects of a time period, see the influences they have on one another. Okay. Different example of a timeline are the following. Project portfolio timeline. For example, you're going to create a group project and then you are designated into different tasks. Okay. So for example, you have 4 or 5 members, okay, and you're given different deadlines. Okay. But all of you should be done by this point of time. Let's say January to December 15. Okay. Right now, I have given you you already have your worksheets and module for the month of October. So I'm expecting that by this time that I'm speaking, you're already done with your week two, while others are already done with their week three and four, and they're just waiting for the submission, okay, for the submission date. So you may have started different and a different time, but you may also have started simultaneously, but you have ended on a different period of time. So that is where a multiple timeline can be used. Example here as well is the COVID-19 projected timeline for treatment and prevention. If you remember, during the early months of this pandemic, by the way, this is from SynBio Beta. During the earlier months of this pandemic, we are thinking of a possible cure for this pandemic, for this COVID-19. First, we talk about the repurposed drugs. So these are the available drugs in the market. Okay. So it can be a herbal drug or herbal drugs, or it can be something that we already have. And they are just going to what do you call that? They're just going to improve it for the COVID-19 patients. Also, there were times that we talked about antibodies. And if you remember if you remember the donation of plasma by those COVID-19 survivor, right now we cannot hear about it anymore. Diba? May mga nagbebenta ng plasma ng dugo, galing sa dugo. And then, at the same time, sabay-sabay din nagsimula yung paggawa ng vaccine. Okay, yung anti-COVID-19. Sabay-sabay sila nagsimula, pero magkakaiba sila ng tapos. Yung drugs na meron tayo, hindi na masyado na pag-uusapan. Okay, hindi na siya masyado na pag-uusapan. Siguro mga first 2 months lang. Okay, kung ano-ano mga drugs ang narinig natin, pati sa internet, sa Facebook, ang dami natin narinig yan. While antibodies, nagkakaroon ng bentahan ng mga plasma. Yung iba nagdo-donate, especially yung mga nakatapos na sa COVID-19, mga survivor like Howie San Martino, because they say that it is effective as a cure. But right now, wala na. Ang pinag-uusapan natin ngayon is about the vaccine. And according to the experts, the vaccine is now on the phase 2 or 3. Remember, we have 4 phases of the vaccine. So those who will volunteer for the vaccine trial, they will be having 4 types of vaccine, I guess. I'm not sure, right? Maybe the COVID-19, the frontliners are very knowledgeable about it. But as you can see, as I've said, the multiple timeline can use to compare the different activities happening that started in a certain period of time and could be happening right now or maybe in a future time. Sabay-sabay sila nangyari. Okay? So you can see it is presented by different colors as well. Okay, right now, overlapping circle math. Just like a Venn diagram, but different is that you will be talking about what this what is common with this circle, with this concept, that is also part of a bigger one and also a part of another one. Okay, so they have uniqueness when it comes to the concept. It's used to help students develop skill in comparing and contrasting similarities and or differences. It is also like a Venn diagram. It's just that hindi sila magkahiwalay. Okay, parang more on ano sila, more on commonalities. This is specially designed to show the relationship of two concepts, which one is subset of the other. So as I've said, a subset could be a part of another concept. Okay? A part of a bigger concept or a part of a bigger idea. A smaller idea, which is a part of a bigger idea or a bigger concept. A minor subject as a part of a major subject. Okay? Now, so you can see here in the colored part of the example, you will see the British Islands. All of these are under the British Islands. But when you talk about British Islands, we're talking about British Isles, United Kingdom, Ireland, and the Channel Islands, and the Isle of Man. Okay, this is magaling sa geography. So mahilig sa mga Harry Potter movies. This is what we mean by British Islands. When you talk about UK, you're not talking about the Channel Islands. You're just talking about UK. And the UK only have Northern Ireland and the Great Britain. Great Britain. And the Great Britain is only having Scotland, England, and Wales. Not part is the Northern Ireland. But kung UK ang titingnan natin, yun lang yung part niya. Kasama yung Northern Ireland and the Great Britain. Okay? Pero sila ay under ng British Isles at buong buo as a continent. So they have one flag as the British Islands. Okay? So, sometimes narinig natin sa mga beauty pageant or makikita natin sa beauty pageant na meron sila kanya-kanyang sash. Kasi magkakaiba talaga sila. Pero if they will be represented as one, they will only have one sash, which is the British Islands. Okay? Same thing with the Philippines, for example. Philippines, and then we have 3 circles inside. We have Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Meron siyang 3 bilog sa loob ng Philippines. Okay? And then, ang lahat sila merong C. Okay? Gulo na sinasabi ko. Anyway, so the Philippines have 3 main circles inside and they're not being told as they cannot combine because they have Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao and they have different territories. That's it. Cut nyo na lang pag wala. Pag hindi nyo maintindihan. Okay. Now, in your module, as you can see, we also have the cause and effect diagram, the flow diagram, and the concept maps. Okay, I'll almost discuss everything here. So, we talk about Venn diagram used to help students develop skill in comparing and contrasting similar or different information. The common characteristics or the common qualities are at the center being shared, and then they have the differences on the both sides. Example, the comparison and contrast of birds and bats. Both are alike because they have two legs. They're both having backbones or vertebrae. They're warm-blooded. Their limbs are called wings. Both have wings. But they differ in the following things. Birds lay eggs, while bats live young. Birds have beak and bats have teeth. Birds have feathers and bats have fur. What's the difference? A fur is connected to our skin. While feathers are connected to the skin, it's like having branches, di ba? Para siyang tangkay tapos may ano pa yung mga feathers. That's the difference. Okay? So that is the Venn diagram of bats and birds. You're very familiar with this, I know. So I have here the different sites that I've used. You can screenshot this so that you can have different point of view of different ideas of graphic organizers for creating graphic organizers. Okay, you also have the flow diagram or the sequence chart. The flow diagram, as I've said, just like the circular chart, is stating a purpose of step-by-step process. Okay? Yung kanina, yung na-discuss natin sa circle map, it is about the process or the step-by-step procedure of a certain thing. Okay? When you are signing in, what to do first, how to create something, how to do this, how to do that. Okay? When you're making DIYs or do it your own projects, you will be following the flow diagram chart as well. So here are the sources that I've used in my discussion. Once you have this soft copy of the file, it is directly connected to different links. Okay. Nakapanag na siya sa mga links. So if you have other questions, just try to PM me so that I can explain to you more on the topic. I hope that you have learned from my discussion. Thanks a bunch, guys. Salamat po.